How amazing is that? I know, right? I mean, we've been going on, it's been past a year since the outbreak occurred. And thousands of people have died, thousands more that we don't even know about, and they admit that. But all of a sudden, they have a cure. No need to worry. No need to worry. This is amazing news. I mean, yeah, just a month ago, they said something like they can't get this under control and they don't know what else to do, and 70% of the people that were being diagnosed are dying. But wait, they've got a cure. They have a cure. It's amazing. It's amazing how they can just move so quickly with this. Oh, the medical technology, it's amazing. Oh, what amazing. Okay, this is crazy. This makes absolutely no sense at all. Do I believe that there could be a cure? I absolutely do. I believe that besides for prevention methods that will keep your cells from absorbing horrific viruses, bacteria, fungus, all of these different things, that there could be some cure somewhere. Or there have been people working on a cure, like an MIT scientist that's been working on one, and he just randomly, they just stopped funding him. I sent that to the supposed new scientist or doctor, whatever, that is running the Ebola thing now. He didn't reply to me, but whatever. And then all of a sudden, the day after I tweeted him, I'm sure this had seriously, I don't think it has anything to do with it, but it was like the next day is when they come out with, there's a cure. There's a cure. What? But then we have, just a week before that, they're saying Ebola must be mutating, and that's why they're having such big issues with it. Okay. So, you know what? I actually do believe that they think some kind of cure for Ebola, for one strand of Ebola. I absolutely believe that they probably do. But with all of the information that we have, that it has mutated, it has become airborne, and it's also kind of laying dormant for years. Not kind of, it is laying dormant for years in sperm and in your eye and all of these other things. If you haven't seen those videos, at the end of this, I'll have the playlist of all of my Ebola videos, and they don't have a cure for that. Or another thing is, what they've even admitted to in the scientific research, which I've said in my other videos, is that they are misdiagnosing people with dengue, malaria, measles, and other things because they have such similar symptoms. And I say misdiagnosing because they honestly might be. Because if, okay, let's say you go to the emergency room and they run a random panel test, okay? But like their random panel test only will include measles and dengue and not Ebola, because Ebola is a separate test, and you test positive for dengue or measles. Well, then they have it. They're like, okay, this is what you have, now we're going to treat you for this. But just because you have dengue does not mean you do not have Ebola. And that has been proven in multiple autopsies. And again, I've showed that in other videos. And what I believe from all of the research that I've read through, what I believe is happening is people are contracting dengue. It is weakening their immune system, making them more susceptible to getting Ebola. Or let's not, we don't even have to say it's Ebola because it is mutated. It could be something else, or it just could be whatever the case may be. Just like whenever you have cancer and you see people wearing masks walking around because their immune system is compromised. And so they might not die of the actual cancer, they might die of the flu. You know what I mean? Because it makes your immune system to where you can no longer fight it off. And that's what seems to be going on. And they might not even be doing it purposely. I don't think hospitals, just random, run-of-the-mill, your local hospital is doing it purposely. I honestly believe that they are doing their test and, you come up positive with mumps, measles, dengue, malaria, one of those. They stop there and then start treating you from that. And some people may recover and some people don't. And then they just think that you died of dengue. And because before there really was not many cases of people dying with dengue. It was very, very small numbers. And now we are seeing tens of thousands. And, the hospitals in all of these places are just overrun. They can't even take care of the patients. Now we're seeing that there was a flight quarantined in the UK, a flight to Manchester from, I think the girl had come from Sierra Leone, Africa, and from the reports it said she was vomiting, viciously vomiting, and there was blood in the vomit and all of these things. The people on the plane didn't really know what was going on. They were all kind of freaking out. They have people running up with hazmat suits to get her out. And then, of course, like so many things, the story goes silent. Just like with the one in the Netherlands. There was supposedly 2 people that likely had Ebola. Then, bam, all of a sudden, nope, false flag, false alarm, right? It just doesn't make any sense. Just like the one in Pennsylvania. How that was one of my early on first videos that I did about 6 months ago. It said that he had Ebola. And then they came out on their mainstream media and saying, no worries, that's not really what it was. It was something else. But then a month later, in a scientific journal, it came out that they were explaining what happened. I mean, they were saying that yes, he had Ebola, blah, blah, blah. But that story was just in a scientific journal and it wasn't in the mainstream media. So, I honestly don't think we'll ever figure out, unless there are people in hospitals willing to speak out and say, yep, this is absolutely happening, which honestly I have had people message me like that. But let's just go ahead and look at this cure they have going on, and you tell me if you would be willing to take this. I don't know, it's an interesting thing. We're going to look at that and a few other things, but I don't know. It's just too much. Too many strange things going on, and then all of a sudden, oh, we got a cure. It's amazing. I don't know, you guys. I just don't know. But it's perfect timing with everybody doing videos about Jeff Eggston. Y'all know who I'm talking about. That's what everybody's doing videos about. Who cares? Does that even affect your life? No. And while they're doing that, I'm going to do a whole different video about it, but there is this executive order being drafted up to stop censorship on social media platforms. And when you read it, it's absolutely not what it is at all. It's quite the opposite. But it's perfect timing. That's why they do these distractions. To push through all these things that nobody's going to even hear about. Kind of like the embargo that we have on Venezuela, where we are literally starving the people. Anyway, let's go ahead and look at this article. Okay, this is a little bit longer than I wanted it to be, but I'm doing it this way to show you how you can do your own research. I kind of go through it just like as if I was doing the research without being on here. Because a lot of people want to be able to find this stuff and see how they can find out if something is true or not, or whatever the case may be. So I kind of go through it just like as if I was researching it for the first time. Well, kind of, but you'll see. Okay, so if you put in Ebola cure, click on news. Let's check out all these. Ebola is now curable. Cures for Ebola, blah blah blah. All of these articles, right? So crazy. It goes on and on. all of these things. But then when we go to the original article where they actually got this information, it's from Helen Bresville. I follow her on Twitter. I'm about to show y'all her Twitter. Let's see. Okay, so this is her. No, that's not her original article. It's from Stat News right here. Okay, so for the first time, clinical trials results show Ebola drugs improve survival rates by Helen Branswell. I've been following her since her and a few other people that are Ebola. They keep the stats on Ebola. Some of them are virologists and all of these things. Anyway, so a historic clinical trial has shown that 2 therapies made from Ebola antibodies appear to be improving survival rates among people who receive them. Okay, Ebola antibodies are what your body creates if you get Ebola. Okay? So keep that in mind. The therapies that have improved survival rates are Region EB3, a cocktail of 3 monoclonal Ebola antibodies by Regeneron Pharmaceuticals, and MBA114, a single monoclonal antibody developed by the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases, part of National Institutes for Health. The clinical trial will continue comparing 2 drugs. See, this is still a clinical trial, while all of those articles are making it look like, we got a cure, no more worries, stop the worrying. A number of clinical trials were started near the end of the 2014-2016 West Africa Ebola outbreak, but they either revealed that proposed therapies did not work or failed to reach a result before the outbreak ended. Okay, so that means, let's say that you are growing a couple of plants to see which Miracle-Gro is working the best. Let's say you're using Miracle-Gro, Walmart brand, some organic brand, but then you get a hurricane, all your plants die. So your trial ends, okay? You lost your plants. But we're going to go ahead and say, oh, it was the Walmart brand because Walmart is giving us funding to keep on doing this, right? I like to use that. That's a good analogy. I just came up with that. Anyway, so one of the drugs tested in West Africa was ZMapp. And we've heard about Z-Zombie-Map being used here whenever they had the doctors that came back to the States. and they were treated after they were found to have Ebola, supposedly. I am still I'm being honest here. I have very cautious about that one guy. I'm not going to even say his name. The guy that was supposedly given this ZMapp, which was antibodies from his coworker that had Ebola, and then he was cured. There's some very suspicious weirdness going around. He was the guy that got on that plane with the guy with the clipboard that wasn't even in a hazmat suit. Maybe he had it, maybe he didn't. But he also, I'm just going to say, he's an actor. It's even in his little portfolio. But I'm just going to, maybe not. Maybe he was cured, maybe not, from this ZMapp. The antiviral drug, Resmond, I'm not even going to try to say that, made by Gilead. The board decided the trial should be revamped to test Regi EB3 and MAB114 against each other. Oh, heck yeah. But how are we going to do that if we don't have anybody with Ebola? Oh, I got an idea. If we don't have anybody with Ebola, we better give people Ebola so we can do our clinical trials. Otherwise, we're going to lose our money and we're going to lose all... Oh my God, we've been testing this. Oh, this looks bad. I'm not saying that happened. I would never say such a thing would happen. I would never say that they would use poor people in Africa as guinea pigs. That would be horrific. They would never do such a thing, right, guys? What? This is horrific. Let me just... I can bring political stuff into this because it is so... You don't hear these Democrats. I mean, we already know that the Republicans don't care about anybody, right? I mean, that's what they say anyway, okay? So if you are of the Democratic persuasion and you think that they actually care about anybody of any color, please think again. Because they are totally on board with this. They know what's going on, and they act like it's actually just a good thing. The same way the Haiti money disappeared, the same way that the money that went to Africa disappeared. But don't worry, they care about you. That's the same with Venezuela right now. We are starving the poor people in Venezuela. Even if you don't agree with them, I don't care. Think about this. The Democrats and the Republicans don't care. So tell me that they're not working together. Make a case and prove to me that they are not working together and they actually care about you. You can't. And if you keep voting for them, you're just part of the problem. Anyway, moving right along. NIH has about 300 doses, good, of MAB114 at the moment, Fusi said, with an additional product coming available in early... What a coincidence! They're having an additional product coming in early September. We've got a good amount of people that have Ebola. Now we're going to be able to do a good clinical trial. Heck yeah. Heck yeah. To date, more than 1,400 people have received one of the experimental therapies. The results put into question the future of ZMapp, the first monoclonal antibody preparation to be used to fight Ebola. MAP Bio President Larry Zinteline would not immediately comment on the finding of ZMapp. I wonder why. Why not? Why not? I mean, it's amazing. It's amazing. This is amazing news. It's brand new information. Okay. So let's see. 1,900 people have died. I swear, just now I read 1,800 people died. Weird. It's because they keep changing the information. But I want to go on to what this weirdness is. So what they're doing is they're taking the serum from infected patients and then injecting it into other people to see what happens. That's essentially what they're doing. I mean, obviously, there's some cleaning of the antibodies and all of these things. And yes, this has happened before with other things. But this is weird as heck. This is... let me see. EB3, with current stock in hand, hundreds of doses, and another round of production. I mean, this is... The clinical... What? The clinical trial was conducted at Ebola treatment centers in Beni and Batambo and Mangina. Shut up. Shut up. Those are exactly... Oh my God. That's exactly where the Ebola breakout is. Nothing weird there. Nothing weird there. And again, nothing weird with that this Dr. Zhang, whatever his name is, just getting put into his position as chief of this Ebola outbreak situation. I want to show y'all. Okay, well, I'm going to get on some other stuff, but patients quarantined on plane in Manchester airport after woman becomes ill on board. Hey, don't worry. They've got the Z-map for you. Don't worry. Now, this is some pictures from people actually on the plane. A plane landed in Manchester airport, was surrounded by police and quarantined for 2 hours after a woman became ill on board. Passengers were left stuck on board Flybe Fight. Oh my God, I can't talk. BE3122. That's interesting for anybody that does gematria. Just saying. Okay, confused travelers were left wondering what was happening before the news broke that a passenger had fallen ill. I would say I would be... You see this right here? This is the Brave browser. Oh crap. I shouldn't have clicked on that. But you earn BAT points, BAT crypto. So if you're not using the Brave browser, why don't you go ahead and install that? And you can donate your BAT points to me. These are your BAT coins. Right here. And you can donate them to me. That's a good way to help support my channel. Sorry, I just kind of went off on that. But, just to let you know, I've been testing DuckDuckGo, and either they are owned by Google, or they have just taken on everything that Google is doing, because all the results are showing up exactly the same. Just throwing that out there. Okay, where was I? Ebola cure. Sorry. I go on tangents sometimes. So I was on this, right? Okay, so, well, I'm just gonna, I'm gonna sum it up here. Okay, so it looks like they possibly could have, maybe, infected these people so they could continue clinical trials. That's kind of like what the people in Africa said they were doing. Interesting. But this is the most concerning part. Just a few days, actually I think it was a day prior, this is an article that comes out. Is Ebola evolving into a deadlier virus? And right after this comes out, we've got a cure. Really? Really? But this is so important. This is exactly what I've been claiming since very early on, that there's something going on with these cells. They are mutating. Okay, you can go through this article, but that's essentially what it's saying. They have the different strands of Ebola, but then we don't know what's going on. And that's why we can't get a hold to this outbreak, even though they want to. Conspiracy theories about medical workers and false information about how the virus spread are ricocheting around platforms like WhatsApp. Why do they keep blaming WhatsApp for stuff? Jesus. The effective experimental vaccine for Ebola and more than 175,000 people have received it. Even so, the virus is finding new victims. See, they can't even pretend. They cannot even pretend it's not being cured. It's even saying these people are getting the vaccine, but yet people are still getting infected, extending into different geographical areas. Which means, how in the hell is this not airborne? If these people are getting it 200 miles away, it's not like they are in the United States where they're driving around in cars all day, where you can go 200 miles in an hour and a half or something, like, or whatever, 3 hours. There's just so many conflicting stories, but this is a very good article. I want y'all to go through this one. It's long. I'm not going to read it all, but that's essentially what it's saying. That it's saying exactly what I've been claiming, that there's something going on with this. These RNA viruses, which range from Ebola to measles to influenza, and tend to produce errors or mutations in their code when they copy themselves. Exactly. That is the situation. And they're not looking into that. They're looking into how they can do crazier stuff. Let's go to Helen's Twitter, because she's kind of freaking out, it seems, that people are taking her article and saying that it's a cure. She's like, I'm just saying it's treatable. I'm not saying that it's a cure. See, this is her article. This is her Twitter. Burundi has finally started vaccinating health workers. Let me see. The number of children. See, she continues to drop the number of children, and I'm sure she kind of has to be careful about what she says, because she works for an actual organization, and so she doesn't want to be fired or anything. But she continues to talk about there's survivors and there's a lot of people dying. Okay, see right here. Important message that early treatment increases survival, but promising Ebola drug as a cure could backfire because they won't save everyone. The women and children at Goma who was discharged today were treated with the REGN-EB3. She's even saying it. Look, because see, they're still showing some. Nah, come on now. She's showing the statistics of the outbreak and everything. I think this is kind of funny. I'm not sure what that means, but she's going up on these people that are trying to say that there's a cure. She's saying it's dangerous to say that there's a cure because that's not what it is. They're saying it's treatable if found early, which we've known that forever. See, not curable. She retweeted this. Not curable, but rather treatable with a specific drug. Best MAB cocktail from Regeneron with 29% CFR in treated group. Overall outbreak 70%. See, oh goodness. And this does happen. This happened with when my college professor one of my college professors found that alligator serum cures HIV. And by the time he got to Australia to do his talk, the papers were printing out like cure for HIV, cure for AIDS, and all of these things. And he's like, no, stop. That's not what I said at all. You can't inject alligator serum into your body. So it was kind of funny, but that's exactly what they did. Oh my gosh, I just went way longer than I wanted to. Okay, thanks guys. Y'all have a wonderful day. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Of course, all of my videos are being either demonetized or not monetized until 2 days later, whatever the case may be. to support my channel if you would like to. Please, all the links are in the description. I have PayPal, I have a Patreon, and you can get 20% off of your silver solution, which has absolutely amazing. This is not colloidal silver. People are confused. This is very different, okay? And it goes through all of the different things, that it could possibly help. But, I can't say that it does anything. Okay, anyway. But y'all have a wonderful day, and if you have not seen my other Ebola videos, please click on the link that will be coming up next. Bye, guys.